Okay, everyone, once again, thank you for joining us here today at WebEx 2024. It's now time to move on to our next session. さあ、改めましてですね、本日は WebEx2024 にご参加いただきありがとうございました。早速ですが、次のセッションに参りましょう。そのタイトルはアジアにおける Web3 のエコシステムとなっております。So the title of our next session is simply Web3 ecosystem in Asia. I'm going to ask our four panelists to please come up to the stage in just a moment. So starting off, Managing Director, Head of APAC and EMEA Sales, GSR Markets, Chuanjin Fong. Investment Partner and Head of North America, Foresight Venture, Alice Lee. Head of Investments at Presto Labs, Ian Lau. And Head of Business Development at CoinPost, Ryo Sakai. So everyone, give them a big round of applause. 皆様、拍手でお迎えください。ステージへお願いします。Come on to the stage, please. Okay, Ryo, so I believe you're going to be the moderator. So if you're ready to go, I'll leave it up to you. お願いします。
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming to the stage today. So I'm Ryo from CoinPost and also organizer of WebEx. So today we'd like to talk about the Web3 ecosystem in Asia. And then we have a great partners here. So I'd like to introduce about one by one. So CJ, can you start first, please?
Yeah, sure. Hi, thank you for having me today. My name is CJ. I run the sales teams at GSR for APAC and EMEA. I've been in crypto for about 7 years. Before this, I used to be in traditional finance, so I started my career at Morgan Stanley and Nomura on the trading floor up in Hong Kong. GSR is the largest altcoin market maker in the world right now. We provide liquidity for close to 200 projects, invest in a bunch, as well as is the dedicated market maker for a bunch of the exchanges within the Asian region, as well as on a global basis.
Alice?
Hey everyone, nice to see you guys here and thanks for having me as a panelist. My name is Alice and I am the partner at Foresight Ventures and also I'm the head of North America. So Foresight is a crypto fund based in Singapore with around 400 million assets under management. So we are the first and only VC that bridges West and East. So for Foresight, we're more than just VC. We are the investment arm of a crypto exchange called BigGet. And we currently are the top 3 derivative exchange right now, centralized exchange. And under our ecosystem, we also have 2 media brands. One is Foresight News, one is The Block. So we cover all the media brands in North America and also in Chinese-speaking region. And it's really nice to see you. And for our portfolio companies, we invested in Say Network, in Gitcoin, in Space ID, Sleepless AI, IONET, all at early stages. Very excited to get to know more about the Japanese market today as well.
Thank you.
Hi. Hey everyone. I'm Ian. I'm a lawyer and an investor. I cover investments for Presto, based in Singapore. Presto Labs is a quant trading firm. We do quite large volumes across all centralized exchanges. We also do market making investing. We're Singapore-based with offices and strong presence in Korea and China as well. And very excited to also look at the Japanese market. Recently, Japanese market is looking more interesting. So very glad to be here. And thanks for having me.
All right, thank you for the introduction. So today, they are all covering all over the world, actually, but their headquarters is based in Asia. So we'd like to focus on Asian market today, and then more topic is about ecosystem. And then she's gonna more talking about Singapore, and also Alice is gonna talk about in Hong Kong, and Ian's gonna talk about Korea. So it's all different from country in Asia, but we'd like to talk about more countries including. And then let me just discuss the first question first. So the first question is going to be, how does the Web3 ecosystem in Asia differ from other global markets? So can you start first? Yeah.
I think addressing Asia as a whole is a bit tricky because I think across Asia, the ecosystem differs quite greatly. I would say that the Asian Web3 ecosystem cares a lot more about financial upside and returns. And I think the Western space is a bit more evangelistic about blockchain and crypto. So in particular, I think you'll see this in the Korean retail market, which is still the mecca for most crypto projects. Singapore is another interesting place to look at because we don't have good builders, but we have a lot of good investors in Singapore. So I think it's very, very financially driven. Maybe also because of a gap in GDPs between the West and the East. That's my view.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can add on that. Definitely, I think for Asian markets, especially for right now, if you look at the market, I think there are more retail tradings than institution tradings, whereas in the US, you see more institutional money coming into the Bitcoin ETF or Ethereum ETF. And that is also like similar in the stock market, because in the US stock market, like 80% of the trading volume are still in the like traditional institutions, right? But like here, we see the vibrant community in Asia. We're the early adopters of a lot of like new narratives, like Bitcoin inscriptions, and also like game, and also like Bitcoin layer 2s. We're all the pioneers. These are all the Asian team and communities can come out of. So I think community is definitely very, very interesting in Asian market and very strong. Yeah.
Well, they've pretty much said everything I was going to say. But to add on to that point, Asia, the time is now. And I say this because crypto has gone through so many cycles and so much evolution. And the one thing that has withstood the test of time has been the fact that builders have kept on building. And this is on a global basis. So once you've built something, the next question is that proof of concept. Where do you test your markets? And I guarantee you there is no better market than Asia right now. The reason why is within Asia, from north to south, what you have is the perfect mix of evolution amongst economies. You have developing, you have semi-developed, you have developed within each of these. And what that means as builders is you can try your product on the right niche market you need. Because what's going to bring crypto forwards is the fact that it's accessed for many people. And Asia has some of the highest numbers, even in the poorer countries, of people's access to mobile phones. And that is going to be the base level. So what you will see, and to the points of my fellow panelists, evolution in terms of innovation has come from the West. But more and more of these big projects, their first question is, how can I get into Asia? How can I penetrate Asia? So from a capital and from a trading perspective, yes, we have all the traders. Back from my banking days, Asia took the most risk. It put on the most strange positions, and it was the most aggressive. But from the ability to finally get products that you can use, Asia is one of your best testing grounds across the board.
Thank you so much. So, like you guys all mentioned, Asia is a little bit different market compared to any other world. And then I can see, a lot of companies looking for a lot of opportunity in Asia. So, next question is gonna be, so what are the key regulatory challenges facing Web3 companies in Asia? So I know there's so many demands, and then people a lot of projects are looking for the opportunity in Asia. So what's the problem with regulation? Can you start with Alice?
With regulation, I think I can start with Hong Kong market, because we, so for Big Gets, our only LP, we acquired a licensed Hong Kong exchange. It's called OSL. And then we are actually help custody all the Hong Kong ETF since April. So I think mainly the trading volume right now is not very high, to be honest. Compared with the US ETF, the size, their asset under management is around 50 to 60 billion dollars. But right now for Hong Kong ETF is around 200 million. I would say the number is relatively small, but in terms of the penetration rate, and if you compare the GDP of Hong Kong and US, that penetration rate is actually fair enough. And we expect that more institutional buyers will come into the Hong Kong ETF soon. That's why Bigget is getting, we acquired the company OSL at a very early stage. And the main concern for those institutions in Hong Kong, I'd say, would be the regulation uncertainty, because there's still a lot of uncertainty about the attitude of Hong Kong government and how Chinese government will affect on the Hong Kong government in terms of the regulation. So a lot of builders are still hesitating to move their home base to Hong Kong. I think this is the same thing we see in India, because like Indian countries are like the policy changes through different government leaderships. So that's one. And the other thing is like another regulation concern is definitely for mainland China. Like still crypto is banned, but like there are rumors saying that Chinese government might be opening up to crypto markets in the next 2 years. But I think that's also like a play between the US and China, because Trump says if we don't open up to crypto, then China will. Now that US is more friendly to crypto, and it can share revenue through ETFs and stuff. So like maybe China will do that in the future too. So that's also a large upside for the Asian market as a whole, because there's like a total market of almost 1.3 billion people like still don't have access to crypto. So that's also like some kind of like regulation upside we can expect for Asian market.
Short of sounding like an Asia cheerleader, I'm going to say that when it comes to regulation, Asia's at the forefront. And I say this because the US had its advantage, but more and more so, crypto became a political tool within the US. Europe has always been the one to follow. There's a lot to protect within the European regions. And therefore, in Asia, what you have is, I don't think it's regulatory arbitrage, but rather you have a group of nations within the region pulling forwards. Now, what does it mean? So you have countries which are very far ahead in terms of regulation. Singapore's, the Hong Kong's, the Japan, the Koreas. But you also have an understanding as builders that the right place to be based to build then is in these countries, because there is some certainty. Regulators at the end of the day, and I think this is the one thing that you all must never forget, regulators' job is to protect retail. The only aspect of retail that they're trying to protect is the tradability and speculation when it comes to the underlying utility coins that are produced. Now, obviously, you're not going to see a regulator within the region say crypto is illegal. I don't think we're going to go down that path. If anything, and I was a betting man, and I do quite a bit of betting, what I would assume is that the regulators are going to start regulating large participants on an infrastructural level. To Alice's point, and I agree with this, exchanges will start getting regulated within the regions. You're going to see custodians get regulated. Market makers are going to start getting regulators. And what you're going to see then is a framework where all the participants within this space, the large participants, are well regulated on a fit and proper basis. What this then does is it opens up the court for all of you to build. Because suddenly you know that you're building within an ecosystem that's fair. It's the same thing if you're to do a startup business. If you're going to set up a business on Main Street, you want to know that the banks that you're taking your loans from, that the real estate agents that you're buying a property from, all of this have some level of fit and proper conduct. I think we're going to go see that direction, and I think Asia's leading the way for that. You want to go next question?
No. Actually, I want to like zoom in a little bit on what you said about Asia being at the forefront, and I think in terms of how I think we could go on for hours. We could go on for hours on this, to be honest. But I think there's a push and pull. I think partially in Asia, regulations are a little less entrenched, and there's a bit more of a political slant to how regulations are enacted. So, for example, right, we talk about regulators who adopt best practices, want to create like a good playing field for everyone. But then, of course, for example, in Korea, crypto gains tax has been postponed for a number of years, and hopefully continues to be postponed. So I think there are other considerations as well in terms of how regulations are being enacted in Asia. And I think a big part of this also is what creates a lot of opportunity in crypto and in Web3 for a lot of ancillary products, a lot of ancillary services that serve a disparate, a fragmented regulatory environment. And with regulation, a lot of these will go away. And I think I think the crypto landscape will look very, very different once a more uniform or more universal style of regulation comes in.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I think even like in Asia, like you mentioned about the allegation of tax, like Japan and Korea, even though we're like next to each other, it's completely different. So that's going to affect a lot in the dollar situation, like in the market and the condition. So I think how regulation of crypto affects is like how the government, like the country see like the new like technology, like crypto, like Web3 is like something different from like a Web2. So how do you think like Web2, like traditional finance, see like decentralized like, finance, like DeFi, affects like a lot? And if not, it's like regulated, or like how, as I'd like to say, like how is traditional finance institution like in Asia like responding to like rise of decentralized like finance? Does that make sense? Yeah. Can you go first? Yeah.
Of course. So if you've been in Web3 for a while, I think there's a reason that, and I'll go slightly back to the previous question as well. There's a reason that the regulatory landscape is struggling and it's not as comprehensive as in traditional finance. It's because we're in an age where the startup scene and the talent just builders are just so fast, and we develop things faster, very much faster than any other industry. And so the easiest way to build a successful crypto project is to copy something from traditional finance or from the traditional space, Web2 space, even AI or like weather prediction, and then you put that into Web3, right? And you do it properly. And so in that sense, I think every aspect of Web3 finance, Web2 firms traditional finance firms that have started looking at crypto, which almost every single one has, I think they have already started developing thesis around how to handle it, how they can do it secretly without getting caught, or do it through proxies, or you create like layers, multiple layers, funds of funds, or like advisory situations where you indirectly affect them. So it's already being done in every single way. And I don't think DeFi in particular has a more unique approach being adopted by traditional finance than other aspects of crypto.
Yeah, to sort of add on to that, I think for traditional finance companies, they're still like a little bit hesitating. But I think now that we have Bitcoin ETF, Ethereum ETF, they have like more regulated ways to kind of diverse their portfolios into crypto. And also, I think that would be very exciting if like a lot of pension funds in the US, they wanted to put some money into crypto. That would be like the new growth for us right now. Yeah.
DeFi's creation was to provide access. Simple as that. DeFi was for the Web3 community to have access to Ian's point, which I agree with, similar products that you would find in the traditional finance world. It's a very different market from what the banks look at. Even if you talk to the banks right now and ask them what are they doing in the space, to them, Bitcoin and Ethereum is just another investable asset class. I'm going to do my equity link note linked to it, my fixed coupon notes, my structured products. But at the end of the day, when it comes to DeFi, right now, in its immediacy, I don't see a world where traditional finance institutions look at DeFi and say, oh, I'm going to come in, we're going to create a prop arm, we're going to put 100 million TVL. I don't see that happening. And the reason why is, one thing DeFi has to understand, a lot of builders in DeFi are brilliant. They come up with amazing ideas that it can be done on a lot more efficient basis. But the biggest problem is DeFi for traditional finance, we don't care about speed. We don't really care about the transparency behind it. We care about your KYC, your AML, and this goes back to regulation. So traditional finance institutions will always have that element, which is why what we're actually seeing is an advent of new DeFi protocols. We're seeing a lot more pools and trading venues which have ring-fenced KYC, AML components to sort of counter for this. So there will be an element of it, but I think we are far away from where we see traditional finance penetrate into DeFi.
Got it. Thank you so much. I think like I mentioned about the ETF. So when it comes to traditional finance in like Web3, ETF is like huge topic. Just this year happened, and then I think ETF like in the Bitcoin is going to affect a lot of ecosystem in Asia. So it's really particular your country. So how do you see like ETF, especially like Japan is not approved yet. So I think some over here people are interested about like ETF, like how it's gonna work in Japan. So how like ETF of like Bitcoin is gonna work in ecosystem, like in Asia, like especially like Japan, like your country. Can you start with Ian again, please?
Sure. I mean, when you talk about ETF, we implicitly it's a regulated product, right? So I mean, clearly the path is just going to mimic the American approach. I think that's just where it's going to start, where we see institutional inflows with legitimacy, and then we can start to see like indirect exposure via retail. So I don't know. Did you have like a more specific nuance you're looking for? Was it like, are you looking for process, or are you thinking adoption, or are you thinking of like, unusual features?
So I would say like adoption, because like it's like a WebX, like mass adoption of like a Web3 is gonna be like a main topic. So ETF is like one of the approach to like the mass adoption of like Web3. So yeah, I want to like more focus on and talk about it.
I think adoption will be fast. I mean, like, what filled me with terror this year was when my father started talking to me about Bitcoin ETFs, and he started putting money in, and I was like, no, Dad, like, yeah, I have enough exposure, stop. But he has it, and then now he comes to my room, and he's like, yo, it went up, yo, it went down.
Buy the dip.
Every day there's something to talk about. I'm like, no, just wait. So like, it's coming. There's a famous meme in Korea of some like grandma, like someone took a photo of her from the back of a bus, and she's like looking at charts, and I'm just, it's gonna come like much faster in Asia. That's what I think. Yeah. Access is gonna make it fast.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fast as well, because I've been to BTC Nashville, and I see like in the US, people are like crazy about ETF already, and the adoption is really high. When you go to a taxi, when you say that you're here for the BTC conference, everybody's like, oh, I already have a wallet. Should I buy more Bitcoin ETF or like Bitcoin in my wallet? So I think if ETF coupled with some like political figures or like economy, like economists or something that outside of the crypto world, that will like bring a flywheel effect. Because like the channel's already there. You can buy that. The thing is like you need someone that's interested in crypto or like have that interest in promoting crypto to tell the world what is going on, and then they can just start buying. So it's going to be super fast, especially if it involved with like political interests.
Dare I say it, but I think the ETF adoption is already here already. You look at the inflows at the largest institutions, the BlackRocks of the world, the Fidelities, the Franklin Templetons. And if you think about the average Asian investor in retail, let's use Japan as an example. It's a market I used to cover. A lot of Japanese buy their products, very similar to Taiwanese, via vehicles. You buy it via, let's say, one of your banks selling you this product. And if you were actually to dig into it and look deeper, you will realize that product actually has this BlackRock fund. And part of that multi-asset fund, well, there is a Bitcoin ETF component. The reason why they can do that is because to a lot of these people, the Bitcoin ETF component, it's a very gray area, right? Is it really crypto, or is it for them an equity thing, just the underlying slightly different? So I do think that adoption is here. Now, do I see a need where we need another 50 ETF guys to launch their own ETFs? No, I don't. On the flip side to that, do I see a world where the ETF goes down the credit curve and we see coin number 50 as an ETF? No, I don't see that as well. But the most important thing is that by having this Bitcoin ETF, this Ethereum ETF, and this adoption, it is that vote of confidence that we're looking for in this market. So I do think it's a very important step, and I think that the adoption phase is here already. What's going to happen next is we're going to start seeing volatility markets improve because of this. It becomes more efficient. That's how markets grow, and that's how we mature.
Got it. Thank you so much. So like you mentioned about the market is going to go adapt so fast. So I think when it comes to adoption, investor is going to be really important, like even like retail or like institutional. So I would like to about like some investor topic next. So can I just ask about like how are Asian like investors approaching like a Web3 project compared to the like Western counterparts? So can Alice start first? Yeah.
I just want to clarify the question. Approaching as in like how do I evaluate the project or how do I pitch the project?
Like pitch.
Okay. Yeah. I think because I'm Foresight partner, so I can give you a general pitch about Foresight. So we are, as I mentioned, we're the first and only crypto VC that bridges East and West. And because we have an exchange in Singapore, we can provide Asian startups with a lot of users. We have around already 60 million registered users. That's a large community that we can help up portfolios to start with in Asia. And also we acquired The Block, which is the top crypto media research company in the US. And we also have Foresight News, which is the top one crypto media in Chinese-speaking region. So it's like similar position as CoinPost in Japan. Yeah. So basically, we can help companies to grow from like very early stage to acquire users, to build marketing channels, to like media company like relationships, all kind of stuff from early stage to later stage, and even to listing because we have our own exchange, BigGet. So we could definitely provide a lot of launchpad on that opportunity as well, and also market making. So that's for us. We're more like a ecosystem found in Asia. So it's been going quite well because like recently we invest in a lot of like game companies in Asia and help them grow on Ton, on a lot of like Solana. So it's been good. It's been good.
More trend link. I think in Asia, where it's a bit different right now, is a lot of the high net worth and family offices are not as much going into the VC funds anymore. And the reason why is what you're seeing is a bunch of VC funds who are moving more to pivoting to liquid funds. The reason why is a lot of VCs have, over the last 5 years, seen it, that my mark-to-market looks absolutely amazing. But on unlock, everybody's rushing for the exit at the same time. And suddenly that mark-to-market gaps down almost like credit risk. It's like defaulting on your property instantaneously. So I think that mindset will change a bit, and I think we need to continue to evolve there. But I do find it very heartening to see a lot more of the funds in the space in Asia move to looking more at liquid investments, because that's what we need. We need that reinterest back into already what's out there, rather than only just looking at what's new in the market.
I think as an Asia-based investor, I think what we've had a lot of success with is, so I think there's two aspects to it. One, for projects looking at retail, for projects looking at, which is most crypto projects, right? For projects looking at retail, there's just very strong interest in coming to Asia and just having the ability, because, I mean, we say Asia, right? But then there's like, 50 different languages and 50 different cultures, and it's just like hell to navigate. And, east to west, right? Still, so much nuance there. And so I think having the ability to help people just come in to Asia is great, especially in the key markets. And also, there's just this very strong global interest always in Asian content, in particular Korea, Japan. I think these two especially in particular. And just, I think there will always be that level of interest, even though it's very difficult to actually get in. People are going to keep trying. And as long as people are trying, we're in a position to help, or we're in a position to participate in some form. The other side of it, I would say, is the deep tech, the gigabrain, blockchain evangelist people. They tend to like believers as well. They tend to like people who are here for the long haul, who are here to support Web3 overall as an ecosystem. And that's an approach that we're aligned with too. So yeah.
Got it. So I think we were almost at time, and then I want to say thank you to everybody here, like the great panelists, and then there's so many like opinions from like every single countries, and also that's going to be affect a lot to like Japanese market, and I'm so honored to having them at the WebEx today, and then we have like 1 more days here, so please help, and then thank you so much.
All right, Ryo, thank you very much. Before you guys leave the stage, we'd like to get a group photo if that's possible. So if you could gather at the center of the stage. ということでちょっとグループ写真を撮らせていただきますのでご移動お願いします。All right, thank you very much. 皆様改めて拍手お願いします。Thank you very much once again. Okay, so we're going to do another quick set change, and then we'll be moving on to our next session. ここでパパッとですね、ちょっとセットチェンジをさせていただいて、次のセッションに移ります。少々お待ちください。